All right, welcome everybody to the Wednesday afternoon team call. I know a lot of our team is at work or just going to be hopping on as they go to their lunch break as it's noon Mountain Time here in Idaho. But I'm super excited. We have a guest speaker on today. I'll announce her and share a little bit about her before she gets started. But I want to go over just a couple of quick announcements, and I'll make it really quick. Remember, we have a launch that is happening this week. So if you're not on board with that yet, it's not too late. I was having a call with my corporate mentor, Kayshawn, just the other day. And, I was talking to her about when we have a launch of a program, whether it was Lift 4 or Transform 20, if you miss the boat on promoting and getting ready for the ultimate portion fix, and I don't want you to think like, it's too late, I missed the launch date. This is your business, create your own launch date. What I would do is just set the date a week out, 2 weeks out, start talking about the importance of nutrition, of portioning, and everything involved with that, and then have your own separate launch date. There's nothing wrong with ever doing that. So I don't want you to feel like you've lost or missed out. And I say that because I'm kind of in that place as well, because I took a 9-day vacation where I was pretty much unplugged for the first time in like 8 years. So I went to Bolivia with my wife, Gabby, and I just got back. So I'm working on my launch of that program right now. So I also want to remind you guys as a team that our own member, Chris Pandolfo, has been chosen as one of the 3 male finalists for the Beachbody Challenge, which means he won $15,000 already, and his trip to Indianapolis from the UK is paid for, and he's in the running to win $100,000. Now that some of you guys might not know, like how do we help Chris win? And I can't remember the exact date, but it's the first week in June. There's a week-long voting contest where you can vote once a day from your Team Beachbody account. Any coach, any customer can vote once a day during that week time. And what they do is they calculate those votes along with the votes of a group of panelists from Beachbody, and they choose the winner that way. So let's show him our support. Mark your calendars for that contest. We'll talk about it in the team page. We'll talk about it every week briefly on the team call so that we can be prepared for that. But if you get a chance, just give him a shout out for all that hard work, because it took a lot of courage to lose 168 pounds over the past year and a half. And I know he couldn't have done it. Well, he could have, but a lot of his success came from the support of you guys as his team. So we appreciate you guys for helping support him in that journey as well. One other quick note, lesson I want to give you guys about him being the finalist. He made a decision. So if you're working on becoming a 2-star diamond premier team or an elite team, I'm sure Ashley's going to talk a little bit about this today as well. Chris and I, when he was still 378 pounds, I said, Chris, dude, you tell me you want to be at 200 pounds. I believe if you did that, you're going to win the Beachbody Challenge. So why don't we just set that goal? And he said, that's it. I'm going to win the Beachbody Challenge. And he made that firm decision. And it took a lot of hard work. And he's been through, I personally know as his coach, a lot of struggles, lots and lots of hardships, from injuries, from things with family, from things to work. But he was so clear on his vision of winning the Beachbody Challenge that he was able to overcome the obstacle. The same thing's going to ring true for you for the goals that you set in your business. So quick announcements. Super Saturday is April 12th, 13th, or Super Weekend. They changed the name. April 12th, 13th, and 14th in the US and Canada, and April 26th, 27th, and 28th in the UK. And I'm going to be going to Salt Lake City because my boy Sagi Kalev is going to be there. So a lot of us from Idaho Falls will be going to Salt Lake City. The next thing to remember is Coach Summit. We want you to be at Coach Summit with us to celebrate Chris winning the $100,000 Beachbody Grand Prize. There's going to be 25,000 coaches there. I just want to give a shout out real quick to my new personally sponsored coach, Mandy Hill in the UK. She signed up just like 2 weeks ago. She lost a stone. I don't know the exact translation in pounds right now to that. It's just a few pounds. Doing her 21-day program. It hasn't been 100% like she wanted, but she's still sharing that. And she went to the Beachbody event the UK put on last weekend, which is similar to a Super Saturday, but it was just a corporate sponsored event. Coming out of that event, she bought her summit ticket and also signed up for the certification. And so she asked for work off, coming all the way from the UK As a brand new coach, she doesn't even know many of the things that you think you might need to know in order to build this business. But I know she'll be successful because she's making decisions and then just figuring it out and doing the steps afterwards. So come to Coach Summit. If you have questions, please feel free to message me, put it in the team page. We've always been able to help coaches, male coaches, pair up and share room to split the cost and all types of things to help make sure that you get there. Now let's get to the most important part of this call. Ashley, she is the founder of Fit Bliss Nation. She's the mom of 2. She's a 5-star diamond in her first business center, a 1-star diamond in her second business center. And one thing that I love about her stats when she shared it with me is that because there's many people on this call right now that I feel are at the place where Ashley was just over a year and a half ago. She was hitting Success Club 6 every single month. And in 2017, she earned 18 elite points, or what we would now call leadership points. So in the whole year, she earned 18 leadership points. She hit Success Club 6 every single month. There's one thing that I remember one of my mentors, Craig Holliday, saying. And he said, everybody in this business has a sign-up date and they have a birth date. And I believe that Ashley had what we call a birth date. Sometime she'll tell us a story, but sometime early in 2018. And what that means is when you actually really just say, hey, I can do this. Why not me? And you put in the effort and you just go after it with everything that you have. And then the magic happens, which is you help transform lives. And because of that, your team grows, you attract more people, and people's lives are changed. So what happened in 2018 is she started hitting Success Club 50 plus every single month, which is selling 25 challenge packs or recruiting 25 coaches or a combination of the both. And she and her team earned 350 elite points. So like 332 more elite points than she did the year prior with her team. And it all happened with a shift that happened. But the one thing Ashley doesn't know I'm going to share is I was on an elite panel with her at the last Super Saturday. I think it was the last one. And I didn't really know Ashley too well. I knew the rest of the coaches up there. I'd had some conversations. And I just remember leaving that panel, and there was something about Ashley where I was like, who needs to speak to my team? And I was like, this girl. And I was thinking to my right, who is this girl? Because I don't even remember what you said. I didn't know the stats of going from SC6 every month to SC50 plus. I didn't know any of that stuff, but there was something about you in the way that you shared that I knew would add value to our team. So that person that was on my right is Ashley. And Ashley, I'm going to give the time over to you. Let me unmute you. Then you don't have to. You're good to go.
Okay. Oh my gosh. So much. This is like the bucket list of bucket lists for me to be speaking to you guys. You have no idea. So, because I'm actually going to start, Scotty doesn't even know I'm going to start with this. So when I signed up as a coach, I signed up in June 2015, and I somehow stumbled across Scotty's YouTube, because just in case you guys don't know this, Scotty has like the best YouTube of any Beachbody coach there is, and had so many resources. And he had this video about how he'd paid off his mortgage like super fast. And I showed it to my husband, and I was like, look at this coach, and he's in Idaho, and he like, look at what he did. And my husband was like, that's awesome. You should do that too. And I was like, you're right. I should do that. If Scotty did it, I could do it too. And then I went to my first summit a year later, which hashtag so excited about all the summit talk that's coming. Summit is my favorite thing ever. But I went to my first summit in 2016. And I remember like I was kind of zoning out. I was sitting in the bleachers, like super, super, super high up in Nashville. And people were walking across the stage for their ranks. It was like the 6 to 14 star day. And they were saying all these 14 stars. And I remember like they would say a name and people would clap, and they would say a name and people would clap. And then they said Scotty Hobbs. And I was like, I know him. And the applause got like 8 times louder. And I distinctly, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. I distinctly remember being like, I want to be a coach like Scotty. I want to be a coach that like, not only is it cool that I'm rank advancing, that I'm leading an awesome team, that my team loves me, but that the network loves me, that I'm making such a big impact on the network that people know who I am. And even if I'm not in their team, that I'm someone that impacts other people. And so when Scotty messaged me, that was like, would you speak for my team? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's Scotty Hobbs. Like, oh my gosh, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I want to talk about like really fast where I was. I know we already kind of touched on that, but I think more than anything that helps connect the bridge between like what the heck happened. So I seriously was the queen of hitting Success Club on the last day of the month. I had no builders. I shouldn't say no builders. I had 2 builders. Like everything was just snail's pace and everything just felt hard and everything was, I was trying my best. And I was the coach who said, I'm doing the things and how come I'm not rank advancing like so-and-so? How come I'm not making income like so-and-so? A new product would launch and everyone would say, oh my gosh, it's a high volume week. And I was like, no, it's not. I'm probably not even going to get a cycle bonus because nothing is happening in my downline. And all these coaches were making like, their income was growing every month and mine was going the wrong direction. And how come, like I'm part of Micah Folsom's downline, which I'm sure a lot of you guys know who she is. She's rock star like Scotty, which you guys are my people because you guys understand mentally it can totally get in your head when you have an incredibly successful upline. You guys have Scotty, you guys have Lindsay Matway, like you guys are like in a very successful umbrella. And so I just got very overwhelmed and very looking for all the reasons why I suck, why I'm not good at this, why everything is going wrong for me. And I distinctly remember right after my second summit, I was contemplating quitting because it just wasn't joyful anymore. There is nothing joyous about hitting Success Club on the last day of the month. There is nothing joyous about barely holding on to your rank. And it was super, super stressful. And I love the products. I love the Beachbody On Demand. I love Shakeology. I can't imagine a day of my life without Energize. Like, I love the products and I love the accountability. I love the community, but I don't know that I love hitting Success Club. And so I was like, well, I would probably still use everything. I think I would take a step back from the business if I were to quit. Didn't tell my upline, kind of bouncing around with the idea in the back of my head. And then right at that time, but I was magically, my energy I was thinking was not coming across in my posts. And I happened to advertise for a pretty successful challenge group and accidentally fell into 2-star. And I feel like that sounds really dumb, but that legit is what happened. My sister built herself to diamond, had a bigger team than me, way more emeralds, way more active coaches, whatever. And then I built my husband to diamond because I had a ton of people sign up for the discount. Those were my only emeralds I had anywhere underneath me. And I only had the bare minimum amount of active coaches you needed for 2-star. And then obviously my husband had to have 2 emeralds. One was my mom, with my dad and my stepdad. And then one was this other girl who signed her husband and her mom and stuck around long enough for us to officially go 2-star. And then she quit. But here I am, this fancy schmancy 2-star, getting called out on the national wake up call, and I'm getting a second CBC and all this stuff. But I'm like, I'm the fakest freaking 2-star in the world. Like, if they could see my volume, if they could see how many builders I have, I'm hitting Success Club on the last day of the month. Like, if they could see what was happening, they would take this away. If they saw, I'm not a real 2-star. I totally faked this. But because I had faked my way into it, I earned a spot at a retreat Micah was hosting because you had to go one past your lifetime. And I had technically gone one past my lifetime. And so I earned this retreat that Micah hosted. And that retreat changed my freaking life. It was in September of 2017. At that point, I probably had like 6 elite points for the whole year. And so from September to the rest of the year, I got like 10 more. And then we like exploded out the gate in 2018. And I want to talk about what the heck happened at the retreat. And then I want to talk about what happened when I got home, because we've all experienced, whether you went to a super motivational super weekend, or you went to summit, or a fabulous team call, or a retreat. We've all experienced that, like, yes, I'm going to go change the world. Next summit, I'm going to be 15-star. I'm going to be Ashley Molstad. Like, we've all experienced that, like, oh, I'm going to do this. And then we come home and we're like, oh, I freaking suck. And I've done that like 1,000 times. And so I some things happened at the retreat, and then some things happened when I got home. And I want to talk about the things that happened because I totally believe what I did is duplicatable. Like, I completely believe if I can do this, with how bad I was struggling, with how bad I didn't believe in myself, if I can do this, anybody can do this. Okay. So let's start what happened at the retreat. Number one, I found a reason to fight. I've heard so many people say, you have to find your why. And I feel like a lot of people say their why is like, they want to help and inspire people. And like, congratulations. If you posted on your social media today, you inspired people. Not a big enough why. And so then I was like, okay, and then I heard people say your why should make you cry. But I was like, I'm not like a crier. I'm like get intense. Like, so I was like, well, I don't cry about my why. Like, apparently I don't know. But right before I went to the retreat, I didn't mention this, right before I went to the retreat, I was 5 days away from giving birth. I was 39 and a half weeks pregnant. Think of the line from like the Grinch, 39 and a half foot pole, every time I say that. But I was 39 and a half weeks pregnant. Like, I was just about to have a baby. And the only reason my husband even said I could go to the retreat is technically the retreat house was closer to the hospital than my own house is. And so he's like, if you go into labor, like, you're going to be with a ton of girls who all have babies and they know how contractions work. They will get you to the hospital. So I'm fine if you go to this retreat. So it was like 2-3 days before the retreat. Again, I feel like the fakest 2-star in the world. And I got myself stressed out and started having contractions. And so I called my husband, who was working in another state at the time, because it was a really great job that offered really good pay. And he got like all this awesome overtime, which was like insane amounts of money. And they had really good insurance. And we're like 5 days away from having a baby, so we need super good insurance. And I called my husband and I'm like, oh, I'm having contractions. And I called the doctor and they want me to go into the hospital to get checked. We need you to come home. And he was in Idaho. I'm in Utah. And he was like, I can't come home. We're not done with the road. I can't come home. And I was like, now I'm talking about Emma. But I was like, no, my little girl's right in front of me. Hashtag love my job that my kid's in the same room as me while I'm working. And I was like, I need you to come home. And he's like, I can't come home. And that I vividly remember that moment, because I was like, I am done. I'm done. I'm done with this job. I am done sleeping next to a loaded gun. I am done with my kid growing up watching her dad on FaceTime. I am done never getting to see my husband. I am done with this, like, living this single parent life. And I get this fabulous paycheck that comes into my account every week because my husband's working 18-hour days, but I don't have a marriage. My kid doesn't have a dad. Like, I am sick of this. And I am going to do something about it. I don't know what I'm going to do, because I feel like I'm doing all the things, but there is more to life than this. There is more to life than never seeing my husband, because I'm trading time for money. And I have the best business opportunity in my hands. My upline, Jaylyn, is incredibly successful. I know that if she did it, I can do it too. Micah is incredibly successful. If she did it, I can do it too. There are how many elite 5-star, how 6-figure, 7-figure earners? If they did it, I can do it too. I just need to figure out what I'm doing wrong. But first of all, I had to decide I had something, I wanted to get somewhere other than where I was. And I think so many coaches try to skip that step, that they don't think about why they like want to work, why they want to work hard, why they're not going to let haters get them down, why this is worth them pushing. Do you want to say hi? They like, the why do you want this? Why do you want this? And so I figured out why I wanted it. I am done living this life. And my husband was totally lying. He was totally joking. He was on his way home. He was trying to surprise me. And I'm so grateful he lied, because that lie like changed everything for us. But I went to the retreat when he came home. I wasn't really in labor. I went to the retreat the next day, and hey, remember, we're going to go, hop up. You can't say my life. Do you want to play my phone? Do you want to play my phone? Okay, you can play my phone. There you go. Thank you. I vividly just was like, hey, I'm going to figure out why I'm going to do this. Okay. But I know why I want this. I know what I'm pushing for. Okay. Number 2, and I kind of touched on this, I decided to look for things to tweak instead of looking for what I was doing right. You can watch this one. Okay. I looked for things to tweak instead of looking for what I was doing right. So I was the person who would get on national wake up calls and be like, oh, I already do that. 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 I'd get on calls with Micah. I'd get on calls with whoever and be like, oh, I already do that. I already do that. And so then I was like, I don't understand why I'm not successful. I am doing like everything they say to do. And so when I went to that retreat, I started with that mindset. I was like, well, I'm like, Micah is a double 15-star. And then Melissa Brewer is, I think she's a 6-star. And Jaylyn is a 6-star. And Cozy is a 3-star. And I'm a 2-star. I'm like the 5th best person in this room. And there's like all these other people are like lowly diamonds. I'm like the 5th best person. I bet I'm not even going to learn anything at this retreat because I'm like the 5th smartest person. And it occurred to me thankfully I figured it out a couple hours in that I was like, you're looking for why what you're doing should be working. And it's not. Start looking for what you can change. Start looking for what you wish you would do different. And so I started picking up on things that I was like, oh, I don't do that. Oh, I don't do that. Oh, I should try that. And so I started taking notes of everything. And they talk about this at Summit. You don't come home from Summit and make this like monstrous 19-page list of everything you're going to change. You look for a couple things that jump out at you the most and you tweak those. But I started looking for things that I wasn't doing instead of looking for proof that what I was doing should be working because I do that and how come it doesn't work for me and da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so that's number 2. I started looking for things I could do different rather than looking for proof that what I was doing should be working and it just isn't. Okay, and then number 3, this is like the one that if I don't watch the time, I can talk about this for like 4 hours. I discovered I have some massive limiting beliefs. So Josh Coates flew in. You guys know who Josh Coates is? Yes, no, yes. Okay, I'm seeing some yeses. Awesome, you guys are my people. Okay, so Josh Coates flew in. I had seen him speak at Summit. I had seen him, I had been in his groups 2 times before. He had done a whole bunch of calls for Micah. I was on every free webinar he ever did. But every time I did his groups, they didn't really help me. I still only hit Success Club 6 and I'm broke. I cannot pay for these groups. And so I would start a group and stop, and then 4 months later start a group and stop and whatever. So Micah flies him out to the retreat. And he did this activity and we went around the room and he asked 3 questions. Question number 1, 10 years from now, describe your perfect life. I want you to tell me what it looks like. And I was like, my life would look exactly the same because I'm content, because I'm Christian and I'm a big fan of being grateful for the things God already gave you. And it makes me whatever if I want more. And I like my house. I like my cars. I like my family. I like my, because he was like, tell me about your car. Tell me about your house. Tell me about your view. Tell me about what time you wake up. Tell me about your body. Tell me what kind of clothes you wear. Tell me all these things that I was like, I'm happy with my life. I don't want to tell you about the things. But I distinctly remember the one thing I would change was Jake's job. I would do something different about Jake's job. And we all had to say them out loud. So all these people are crying and I'm like, dude, you guys are wimps. And Jaylyn's describing this 10-acre $1 million house and they have animals and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, my life would look exactly the same. Jake would just be home. That's everything would look exactly the same because I'm grateful for what I have. And in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm better than everyone here because I'm grateful for what I have. I would just change Jake's job. And then question number 2 was, okay, so why can't you achieve this life? If you list this great, grandiose life of what you want, what is holding you back? And so in my head, well, what's holding me back from bringing Jake home? Which in order for me to bring Jake home, I would have to make 5 times the money I'm making. And I'm hitting Success Club on the last day of the month, but I don't have any freaking builders. How the heck am I supposed to make 5 times the money? And so, and then we had to say our limiting beliefs out loud. And we were only allowed to say 1. And he was going to talk it through with us. And then he was going to give us some affirmations to say to help us retrain our brain. And I remember being like, Josh, I have 19 limiting beliefs. How am I supposed to only tell you 1? Because I say this on every call, not just your guys' call, but I don't look like Lindsay Matway. So I can't be successful because I don't look like Lindsay Matway. And I don't have enough time because I'm about to have a brand new baby. How I don't have enough time. I don't want to hire a nanny. I don't have enough time. And I don't have a big enough following. And I don't make pretty enough resources. I'm not like Brooke, whatever her name is, that is the graphic queen of the universe. And I don't have this crazy insane transformation. I'm still on my journey and I'm about to have a baby. I have a really long way to go on my transformation. And everybody I sign up quit. I sign up challengers and they don't even stick around for like a full month. It's like the most stressful thing in the universe trying to hold my 2-star because I'm having to find new coaches every single freaking week because my discounters are postponing their Shakeology. And I'm a bad leader because everybody I sign up quit. And I sign up builders and they never go emeralds. And I've signed up the diamonds that quit. And I've signed up, like, I'm a bad leader. And made all my husband's not supportive. I don't have this. I don't have, like, made all the things in my head. All the things came out. And so I was trying to think, like, okay, which one am I going to say out loud? Because I just had so many ugly voices come out of my head. And the first person said, well, I can't hit my goals because I'm not a good leader. And I was like, oh, I got that one in my head. I'm going to write down what Josh says. And so he started talking him through it. And he was like, okay, so when you post about the business opportunity, do you tell people, okay, so it's going to be so great. I'm going to come over to your house every day and I'm going to babysit your kids so that you have this perfect 2-hour window of time. And I'm going to make sure your kids are, like, distraction free. And then I'm going to put my hands on your hands and I'm going to help you do a power hour. And I'm going to type on your computer for you. And I'm going to create all your graphics. I'm going to give you a content schedule. I'm going to run your accountability groups for the rest of your life so it never has to be stressful. I'm going to teach you how to do everything. And I'm going to be there at your house holding your hand 10 hours a day. Did you say that? When you advertise for finding builders, do your posts say that? And the girl was like, well, no. And he was like, what do your posts say? And she was like, well, that I'll be there to help them and that I'll, like, give them the resources and that I'm part of a really awesome team and that I will, like, it's my job to encourage them and be their cheerleader and to, like, provide tools and that we have calls so that they're not alone and that there's this great community and whatever. And he was like, hey, that's your job. All your job is to do is to inspire and empower. All those resources are there. And even if you don't provide them, Micah is providing them, which in this instance, Scotty, somebody is providing the resources. If someone signs up under you, they are not, like, abandoned and alone and will never receive help. And therefore, you are a good leader. If someone chooses not to use the resources, that's their fault, not yours. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's right. I never signed up someone and told them that I would, like, give them coaches to make them go emerald and that I would give them challengers to help them hit Success Club. Like, if they're not willing to do the work, that's their fault because I know it works. I've hit emerald, like, a lot of times. I can find discount coaches. I've, like, faked my way to 2-star. Like, I can help people go emerald, but if they choose not to listen to me, that's their fault, not mine. And then he gave them an affirmation about being a good leader. And it was, I find coaches who are just as passionate about coaching as I am. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's, like, the best affirmation ever. Because I was this, like, I hate affirmations because I thought affirmations were like, I am a 15-star. No, I'm not. I am an elite coach. No, I'm not. I am a millionaire. No, I'm not. Those are not affirmations. Those are lies. Affirmations are things that imply action and things that train your brain a new way to think so that you're telling your brain you have skills that will lead you to the goal, but they're not telling yourself you are goal. And so I was like, dude, I don't want to say out loud every morning to myself that I find coaches who are just as passionate about the business as I am. I don't want to say that because I do a power hour, like, once every 2 weeks. And I post every day. I do all the things on the front end, but I'm not doing my connections and my invites like I'm supposed to. And I'm not following my mail plan like I'm supposed to. And I don't watch the National Wake Up Call every week. But I do all the things on the front end. I post every day like I'm supposed to. And I do my sweetie selfie with my shaker cup. And I show up in my stories. And I do the things I'm supposed to. But on the back end, I'm not really doing the things. And I don't do my PD every day. And so I hope I don't find a coach who's as passionate about the business as I am, because holy crap, they're going to suck. Because I'm not very passionate about this because I'm not doing the things like I should. And so when I started saying it, it was like, because you think about it, if you say it, I find coaches who are just as passionate about the business as I am. That either hurts or feels freaking awesome. And it took me like 2 weeks of it hurting before I was like, no, screw it. I'm going to get passionate, because I will find coaches who are just as passionate about business as I am. So if I want to find some freaking rock stars, I better get freaking passionate about the business. And I promise, the more you get passionate about the business, the more business builders you will find who are just as passionate as you are. Like, that is how it works. And so it started working. But I was like, holy crap, this works. But I didn't know that at the time. I just wrote down the affirmation that I was like, okay, I find coaches who are just as passionate about the business as I am. And then the next person was like, well, I don't have enough time because my kids are little and my kids are in school like everybody else. And I was like, oh, this is me. I'm about to have a brand new baby and my oldest is only 3. This is me. I'm going to write this down. And so Josh started talking about like, okay, well, how many hours a day do you think it takes to run a super successful business? And the girl was like, I don't know, like 12, like, because I'm doing it right now. Like, I work my business like 12 hours a day. And Micah was like, dude, hold the phone. I'm going to call you out on your shiz. I only work 4 hours a day, but I'm intentional with my time. You are not. You are scrolling your phone. You are watching people's stories. You are spending time in your inbox when you should be doing your invites. You are procrastinating. You think you are working all day. You are not. You are not intentional, and therefore you work 8 hours a day when you're not really working 8 hours a day. You are procrastinating. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is me. This is me. This is me. And so I wrote down all the things that I was like, oh my gosh, this is me. This is me. Like, it doesn't really, and Micah was like, girlfriend, I am making buku, blow your mind money, and I work 4 hours a day. Like, you guys should not be working like 2, maybe 3 tops. Like, we should not be working this crazy amount of time. And like, you work from the list, you do the checklist. Okay, I did my PD, check. Okay, I'm gonna do my connections, check. Okay, I'm gonna do my invite, check. Okay, I'm gonna clean my inbox, check. Okay, I'm gonna check my back office, check. Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna put my phone away. That took me like 45 minutes. Look, I'm done. And so I was like, no, I need to be intentional with my time. That's my problem. It's not that the business is taking away from my kids. It's that I'm not being good with my time. So I came home and told myself I am more intentional and focused than I have ever been before. And that like triggers my brain to be like, oh, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday. I'm going to be more intentional and focused than I've ever been before. And Josh talked about this too, this business should not ever take away from your family. You sacrifice other things, which I'm skipping ahead. I was going to talk about this in a minute, but I started sacrificing Netflix. I don't have cable and I don't have a Hulu membership. So I have no clue what's happening on The Bachelor or This Is Us or any of those other shows. I watch like one show at night with my husband, which fortunately he got on the Grey's Anatomy train. So I'm still getting my Grey's Anatomy fixed because I get to call it a couple of times because my husband does it with me. That is the only TV I watch because all my other time, I wake up at the crack of dawn to get stuff done before my kids because nobody needs me at 5:30 a.m. Nobody needs me. My kids are asleep. Except obviously they need me right now. There you go. And I could go sit back down because I don't want to hear it, but I don't want you to turn it down. Thank you. And like, I'm going to get up super early. I'm going to be really intentional while my baby is napping on the other side of this wall, which when Scotty was like, could you do it at noon? But I was like, oh my gosh, yes, you are my person, because like, I don't have to like try to change my kids' lives. Like, I just do it when my kid on naps and my other kiddo plays Barbies in front of me and plays with my phone so she doesn't distract me. Like, and then at night, my husband comes home and I totally unplug. I never, ever, ever do team calls at night. For my team, I guest speak once a month for other coaches at night. And other than that, when my nighttime comes, I'm unplugged, present with my family. My family has not had to sacrifice anything for my business to explode. I sacrificed things. I got more intentional with my time. I gave up Netflix and I wake up a little bit earlier. And I am a boss with my time so that when 5:30 comes around and my husband walks in the door, I am done working for the day and it's not hanging over my head. I didn't do anything. Okay. So I could keep going with all of the limiting beliefs, but like the big thing that jumped out at me with limiting beliefs is number one, you're not the only person that thinks those things. Number two, they are not logical. They're but in your head, they're logical. Because in my head, I have to look like Lindsay Matway to be successful because Lindsay Matway looks like Lindsay Matway and Ashley Molstad and Emily Favre and my coach Jay Lynn is like blonde makeup Barbie doll. And like, you have to look like this to be successful. And if you don't look like this, you won't be successful. And and that is a story. Your brain has found a story and then it finds tick, 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 tick to here's all the proof. Same thing happened last year. I found a limiting belief that I can't be successful because I have kids. Because Kate Morgan exploded out the gate and she doesn't have kids. And Ashley Bell Dyson's killing it because she doesn't have kids. And my friend Emily Luciano is killing it. She doesn't have kids. And Megan, her name just totally left me, but she's killing it. She doesn't have kids. Like, therefore I have kids. I will never be successful in this business. And fortunately I said it out loud to Jay Lynn when Jay Lynn was like, shut up. I have 5 kids. Micah has 4. Like, If you want, I will send you like hundreds of examples of coaches who are successful when they have kids. And same thing happened at that retreat of like people who are successful who don't look like Lindsay Matway. Scotty, you look awesome. You don't look like Lindsay Matway. Micah doesn't look like Lindsay Matway. There are lots of coaches who don't look like Lindsay Matway, and they're still successful. But my brain had found this story, and that's what a limiting belief is. When you find someone who says, well, yeah, they were successful, but they don't work full time. Well, yeah, they're successful, but they already had a big following. Well, yeah, they're successful, but they da-da-da-da-da. That's how you know you found a limiting belief. So when you find a limiting belief, you talk yourself through it rationally. Well, I don't look like Lindsay Matway. Okay, show me an example of someone who's successful that doesn't look like Lindsay Matway. Okay, we have disproved the story. So now that we know that the story isn't accurate, you make an affirmation, and affirmations can be super basic. They don't have to be complicated. You just say the opposite. I am successful like I can be successful with the way I look. I can you have to be your best cheerleader. That's what affirmations are, is you believing in yourself, you telling yourself how capable you are. Okay. So that's the three things that happened at the retreat. I figured out I had like 1,000 limiting beliefs in front of me because so many people, I'm going to say them all really fast. I'm going to touch on the limiting belief thing one more time. Okay. Limiting belief. Decided to look for things to tweak, not proof that what I was doing should be working, but clearly isn't. And I found a reason to fight. Okay. Last thing I'm going to say about limiting belief. It really, really, really pushes my buttons. And it really pushed my buttons then when coaches would be like, well, you're not successful because you're just not working hard enough. Okay. Think about a car driving in the woods and a log falls over in front of the car. Big log, like 200-year-old, like 10 feet diameter, like super big tree is in front of the road, and you're in your car and someone is telling you, if you push that gas hard enough, you will drive on the road. I'm telling you, you're just not pushing the gas hard enough. If you push the gas hard enough, your car would drive on that road. And you are telling them, like, girlfriend, I am pushing the gas as hard as I can. There is something in my way. Like, I cannot make my car go on this road. That is a limiting belief. And limiting beliefs, until you move them, they will stay in your way. So it doesn't matter how many connections and invites you send. If you are telling yourself, this business is never going to work for me because I am this, I am that, I don't want to be this, I have a fear of success because if I get too successful, it's going to take away some time with my family. # totally felt that. And that, like, so you will self-sabotage your success because you're afraid you're going to get too successful and it will ruin your family life. Until you move the tree is going to stay in front of the car. So you have to take, and I feel like this is counterintuitive what so many people say, but you have to take the time to listen to your limiting beliefs. You have to take the time to acknowledge what your limiting belief is saying, rather than just trying to put positivity on top of it and just don't think about it. Think happy thoughts and whatever. Like, no, that's not a thing. Like, you have to acknowledge, okay, my mean girl is telling me that I don't have enough time. So no, we're going to address this. I'm going to get more organized. I'm going to make a funnel. I'm going to set a timer. I'm going to rearrange my schedule. I'm going to read a personal development book about time management. I'm going to watch a training from someone on YouTube in Beachbody about how they do their time management. Like, I'm not going to just think positive thoughts and I'll magically learn to manage my time. I'm going to acknowledge I am struggling with my time, and I'm going to find a resource to help me. I'm going to talk myself through it. I'm going to tell myself I'm more focused and intentional than I've ever been. I'm going to work on this. And that's how you that's how you get through limiting beliefs. You have to acknowledge them, and then that's how you do your personal development. That's how you do your training. You focus them on things. Yes, I'm not saying don't do the other trainings, because it's important to know how volume works and how to go emerald and how to go diamond and how to crush Instagram stories, and all those things are very important. But when you have limiting beliefs, I promise you're not the only Beachbody coach who has that limiting belief. If you looked on Scotty's page, you would find the YouTube video about this. Because Scotty's page is like the YouTube of YouTube. It's the best channel in the universe when it comes to helping Beachbody coaches. So you find limiting beliefs, okay? So those are the three things that happened at the retreat. And then when I came home, I started implementing stuff. I got super, super, super consistent. I would not go to bed till I did my power hour, because I came home and I told myself, this is going to work. I found my fight. I figured out some things I'm doing wrong. And I am super fired up. I super believe in myself. That weekend was the weekend that Tony Horton came and did the super weekend, like, and he came to Utah, and which was awesome. And my husband came. It was because I think more than anything, he knew I was going to do 22-minute hardcore, and he was afraid I was going to go into labor. So my husband came just in case he had to rush me to the hospital. And so, and he didn't work out with us, but he was there, and he was like, this is really motivating. It was his first event he had ever come to. He had never come to Summit, never come to a super weekend. We had earned a Success Club trip, but didn't go on it because he was afraid of traveling internationally. Like, he had never been to a Beachbody event before. And he came and he was like, this is awesome. And I was like, oh, my husband's catching a vision. Like, oh my gosh. And then afterwards, we found out that Jaylen's husband and Micah's husband were coming back to the retreat house for a second. And so Jake was like, do you think I could come? And I was like, yeah, you should. So he came and he sat and talked to JD and Greg. He is super good friends with Jaylen's husband anyway. But he sat and like hung out with them. And then when he came home, he was like, I believe in you. I think you can do this. And so I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to prove to my husband I can do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And so I came home and I believed it was going to work. I started saying my affirmations. I started telling myself all the reasons why I could do this, why I am right for this, why I can inspire people, why I am enough where I am, that I will find someone in the universe who is inspired by me. And I started telling myself, I started acting. I was the coach who said I was going to hit elite. For some reason, elite was my like, say I'm going to do it and never do it thing. And I had told my husband like 8,000 times I'm going to hit elite. And I came home and I was like, obviously I'm not going to hit it right now because it's the end of September and I am like the emptiest. I have no points. Like, we're never going to hit 5-star. But, and even if we did hit 5-star, we still wouldn't have enough points. So, but next year I'm going to hit elite. And instead of telling my husband, I showed him. I started waking up at 5 a.m. even when I had a brand new baby. And I remember him being like, why are you waking up so freaking early? And I was like, because I'm going to show you Beachbody works. I'm done telling you I'm going to do it and not doing it. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show myself that Rachel Hollis quote about what if just this one time I actually did it. I'm going to do it. I said I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to show it with my actions. And I like along those like wake up early lines, I did a miracle morning. So I said my affirmations and then I visualized. Visualization is the best thing in the whole freaking world. I started visualizing what it would be like to wake up next to my husband instead of by myself. And like, instead of next to a gun. Tamara, I'm so glad it's good. Like, what would it be like if I like wake up next to my husband instead of next to a loaded gun? What if my kids get to like wake up and kiss dad before he goes to work, and then they get to have dinner as a family, and we can like do baths and bedtime and books as a family, and then I can unwind and I'm not talking to my husband on the phone if he's falling asleep in another state. Like, what if I actually get to spend time with my husband at night? And so I would wake up and I would do my miracle morning. I would say my prayers, I would do my affirmations, and then I would close my eyes at my rinky-dink kitchen table and close my eyes and visualize what it would be like next to wake up next to my husband instead of a loaded gun, and go to bed at night next to my husband instead of a loaded gun. And then I would go to work, and I visualized it over and over and over and over again. So when it happened 4 months later, it like felt like a dream, but at the same time, I like recognized it because I visualized it so much. I saw it happening. I saw it coming. And then we hit it, and I was like, okay, well, now what am I going to visualize? Now I don't know what I want. And my little girl was like, Mom, can we go to Disneyland for my birthday? And I was like, well, no, babe, like, we just brought your dad home. Like, your dad he got another job, but it's like, he's barely making money. Like, we're barely living off Beachbody. We cannot, like, we are not going to Disneyland. And then but then I realized her birthday is January 10th, which is the second week in January, which for those of you who know, that is the week they call to tell you have hit elite. And I was like, oh my gosh, what if I do it? What if I finally do it? What if I hit elite? And they call to tell me I hit elite with my rose gold Disney ears and the Disney castle behind me and the smell of churros and the Disney music, and while I'm making statues right next to me and my family's with me, and we really do it. What if we really go to Disneyland and they call to tell me I'm an elite coach and I'm in Disneyland? And I was like, girlfriend, we're going to Disneyland for your birthday. We are going to Disneyland for your birthday. And I told her this in March. Her birthday was in January. We visualized for 10 months. It was to the point she knew, okay, on this day, we're going to ride Pirates of the Caribbean. And on this day, we're going to do this. And on this day, I get to go to Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. And on this day, we're going to do this. And this day, we get to go on an airplane. Because we're not just going to drive. We're going to go on an airplane. And we're going to look at hotels. And this is the hotel I want to stay at because this one looks like Hogwarts. I want to stay at this hotel. And we're going to we're not going to pay for 3 flights and hold my little baby on my lap who's super, super wiggly because she was a little over a year old. We're going to buy 4 plane tickets, and I'm going to work that much harder so I can buy 1 more plane ticket so that Emma can sit in her own freaking seat and I don't have an anxiety attack trying to hold a wiggle monster on my lap. And I started visualizing like how awesome the flight was going to be because Emma's in her own seat, and how awesome all this is going to be. And we're going to go to breakfast with the characters on this day, and we're going to go to dinner with the characters on this day. And I woke up and visualized the ever living heck out of this thing. And guess what? It freaking happened exactly to a T the way I planned it. The Disneyland Elite Call happened with the rose gold ears and the castle behind me. And they are in the middle of repairing the castle right now, I will have you know. And when my friend came to the castle a week later, it was completely covered with cardboard. Can't even see the castle. But when we went, the cardboard was just around the bottom. You can still see the castle in my call. And a week later, you couldn't see the castle anymore, but you could see the call when I went. And like all of it really happened. And now she's like, kind of got it in her head that we get to do awesome things for her birthday. And so she's like, what do we get to do for my birthday next year? And my mom was like, well, how about we go to Disney World? And I'm like, done. Let's go to Disney World, because then I can be at Disneyland when I get the 2-time Elite Call, because I'm not going to be one of those one and done coaches. I'm going to hit Elite 2 years in a row, and I'm going to do it again. And I am like, so I wake up every day now. I've never been to Florida. I'm about to, because we're going to Fort Lauderdale in 3 weeks, Hollow for Success Club trip. But I've never been to Orlando. I don't know what Disney World looks like. So we're watching YouTube videos so I can figure out where I want to be standing when the call comes. And we're looking at hotels, and we're like planning. I have no idea the parks. There's like Epcot and Magic Kingdom, and I don't know. We're like learning about it because I don't know how it works, but I got to know how this works before I get there, because I got to be able to visualize this so I can make this ish happen. Like I came home and started visualizing what I wanted, not visualizing. And I tied my family to it. I think that's one of the biggest pieces. I had visualized Elite and getting the Elite Call and walking on across the stage and my name in bright lights and getting the flowers, and everything was about me. Everything was about me and the business. As soon as I started bringing my family into my visualization, and it wasn't about my name in bright lights. It was about, I am going to bust my freaking butt so I can take my family to Disneyland with 1 week's paycheck and provide like the most magical, life-changing birthday for my 5-year-old in the whole freaking world. Like that all of a sudden made my brain be like, yes, you can do that. And it made it easier for her to understand when mom was trying to work and she wanted to play and she didn't understand why I was working during Emma's nap, that I could say, Mom's trying to make money for Disneyland. Can you go play Barbies for a minute? Because it made my why real for her. I did the same thing when I was bringing Jake home. Babe, Mom's trying to make money so that Daddy doesn't have to live in Idaho anymore, so Daddy can come home. Will you go play with your Barbies? When you make your why real for your family, it helps everybody get supportive, especially when your actions back it up. Like I said, I was the queen of talking it with my husband and not acting on it. Okay, last thing. And then I became bound, freaking determined to change my mindset. I was the person who I vividly remember telling Jalen, everybody on the National Wake Up Call always talks about how hard they work and that like they don't really watch Netflix. And I'm going to be the first person to get on the National Wake Up Call and be like, you know what? I'm successful, but I'm really intentional with my time. So I can still watch like 8 episodes of Grey's Anatomy a day. Like I still watch a lot of TV. Like I vividly remember being like, I'm going to be that coach who's successful and still watches so much TV. No, I came home from that retreat and was like so high on energy. And Jake was like, so like, you can do this. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this. And I'm about to have Ella. And here goes my postpartum journey. I'm like, I can do this. And I started, instead of watching TV when I was feeding my baby and when I was whatever, I started doing personal development. And I started doing as much of it as humanly possible. I used to be that person who would only do 20 minutes and check my little box and then be done. And I decided like, what would happen if I did like a lot? And so I did an hour. I was reading 5-Second Rule. That book changed my freaking life. I've read that book like 15 times. And that's when the whole, like, I'm going to put my phone in the bathroom and I'm going to like, because Mel Robbins said to do that. Set your alarm half hour earlier than you want to. No, Mel Robbins, I have a brand new baby. I'm not setting an alarm. I have like a 5-day-old baby. I'm not doing that. And then I turned off my little 20 minutes and I listened to it the next day. And Mel was like, so did you do it? Did you put your phone in the bathroom? Did you set your alarm for 30 minutes beforehand? Because if you didn't, why the heck are you wasting your time listening to my book? If you're not going to implement what I'm saying, why are you wasting your time? And I was like, oh my gosh, she's right. Why am I wasting my time listening to this? It doesn't matter if I'm listening to PD. I need to implement what I'm doing. And so I I did it. I charged my phone in the bathroom. I set an alarm. I got up and I got stuff done before my baby woke up. And I was like, holy freaking crap, look how awesome I feel. And unicorn crack is a thing when you're a brand new mom. I never would have been able to do that without Energize. But it like, and so I was like, dude, if 20 minutes of Mel Robbins makes me feel this awesome, what would happen if I do an hour? And then I started doing an hour. And I was like, this is really good. I don't want to turn it off. So then I would do like an hour and a half. And then before I know it, I'd finished the book. And I was like, holy crap. What if, and I like started cranking through books through October, November, December. And in January, I was like, what if I read 75 books this year? It's okay if some of them are repeats. It doesn't have to be 75 unique books, because I'm a big fan of if a book speaks to you, you like devour it and do it on repeat. And if a book doesn't speak to you, you stop. But what if I read 75 books? Like, what if instead of doing Netflix, I did 75 books? And so I was like, bam, I'm doing it. So I made a little note in my iPhone called 2018 75 PD books. Number 1, period. And then as soon as I finished my first book, I went and wrote it down. And then number 2, period. So that the next time I finished the book, I had a place to write it. And I kept track of every single book I read. I read On F Yourself like 8 times. Like I said, I don't even know how many times I read 5 Second Rule. I read You Are a Badass. I read You Are a Badass at Making Money. I read 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. I read Intentional Living. I read No Limits multiple times. I read 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. I read As a Man Thinketh. I read, like, I will find the list if you want me to, it's still on my phone. And I found something else to do with my TV time. Instead of TV time, I was listening to Audible all the time. And I was reading physical books in the morning for like 20 minutes, the super in-depth businessy ones that I wanted to like focus and highlight. Basically anything John Maxwell, I read like hardback form so I can highlight, and everything else is Audible. And I did it. I read 75 PD books. I was doing a lot of PD on December 31st, trying to hurry and get through my last book, but I did it, and I got it done before we went to our party. I wasn't at our New Year's Eve party with headphones in. I did it before we went to the party, but I did it. And this year, I'm like, okay, if that's what happened when I did 75, what would happen if I do 100? And so this year, I'm focusing on 100. And we got an Echo Dot so that my Audible's playing in my kitchen, and it's super easy, and I can hear it. I got AirPods for Christmas so that I can listen to it with one ear in while I'm doing laundry, and my kids are next to me so I can hear them, but I can also hear my book, and they're not like, Mom, why are you listening to your book all the time? Because it's in my ear and they can't hear it. So I did my 75 books without those things. I just did them with Audible, and I wasn't buying crazy amounts of credits because I was listening to books on repeat. So super like Reader's Digest. Figure out why the heck you want this. Figure out what's in your way. Tell yourself you can freaking do it. Do it. Don't say you're going to do it. Do it. Do PD that like makes you like feel like you're going to breathe fire, because it just speaks to what you're struggling with, and it speaks to the tree branch that's in your way, and visualize what the heck you want and how it will benefit your family when you get it.
Awesome, Ashley. I think you just breathed fire all over us today. I could get used to that. It's obvious to me, like, and I'll just point this out, like my thoughts, like that energy, don't you just want to be around it or be led by that type of energy? So thanks for bringing everything to us today. I took some notes here as well. I just echo absolutely everything, every single thing that you said on here today. And it's just awesome to see you so excited and passionate about what you're doing. I just want to mention the 3 books that I read in the first year. And just to kind of double back on that personal development aspect, I listened to each of these books 60 times each. So I didn't do like 52 books or 80 books or 100 books that my first year, but I listened to The Compound Effect, Millionaire Next Door, and the Craig Holiday 90 Days of Excellence series on repeat at my 12-hour-a-day job, just over and over and over until they just became a part of me. Like the words that were spoken in those books became my beliefs as well, and they came out in what I was saying as well. And I'm going to echo what Ashley said, and then I'll let you guys go because we're right on the hour, and I have a prospect call in 4 minutes. When you were talking about doing your to-do list, and it doesn't take 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. You look at maybe the team we have or the success that I have personally, or our team has. Today, like Gabby's gone, she's flying home from Bolivia today. I have my dad helping clean the house right now. And my little boy is with him, but like after I did my workout and got the girls off to school, I had from 8 o'clock to work. And and I knew I had to get my son to school at 11:15. So I needed to be done by like 10:45 so I could get him fed, dressed to school, and then, get him to school. And then we have the team call. It was like 10:30. I was like 15 minutes early. I was like, I literally don't know what to do right now. Like 2.5 hours, I led the team, did my invites, wrote my post for the day, did my workout, did my personal development, started 20 new conversations, and I cleaned out my inbox. Like I answered everybody's questions, and I was like, well, shoot, should I find 10 more people on Instagram right now? And I opted in that moment to do 15 minutes of extra workout before the team called. So it doesn't take, I'm a boss of my time as well, like Ashley. If you can get dialed in on that, avoid the distractions, and just do the actual activities that build the business, you'll be successful with time, with the right mindset, like Ashley talked to us today. So anyhow, Ashley, thanks so much. This call is recorded. If you need to share it with somebody else, please share it with them, and we'll see you next week on the team call. See you guys later.